Today I want to talk about Raleek Brown, who has committed to the University of Oklahoma, and all that's coming up after the bumper.
Don't be cornering me. Hold up. Time. You gotta help me with that corner shit.
What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. Consider hitting the like and subscribe button because I upload a video every single day. It's always college football related, sports related. We have a good time. Today, let's talk about 2022 five-star tailback Raleek Brown, who has committed to the University of Oklahoma. I believe this is the earliest that Oklahoma's had a running back commit in some time, perhaps even going back 5-6 years, with Raleek Brown choosing to announce his commitment just days after the 2021 National Signing Day has occurred. And this is tremendous for Oklahoma because the Sooners in the last two cycles have had to take their best running back pledge, or the one that they want to pledge, all the way to December, right? 2 years ago, it was Jace McClellan who flipped his commitment and signed with Alabama, where he is having where he had an outstanding freshman year. He won a national championship. It's proved to be a pretty good decision for him, even being behind guys like Trey Sanders and with guys like Kamara Wheaton coming in behind him. Of course, Kamara Wheaton was the other five-star tailback that Oklahoma really wanted in the 21 cycle. Lost him to Alabama once again, but Lincoln Riley and that staff bounced back in a tremendously cool way, getting Eric Gray from Tennessee out of the transfer portal. He gives them an immediate replacement for Ramondre Stevenson, who opted for the NFL draft. And then, of course, Kennedy Brooks comes back after opting out of the 2020 season. So you have two tailbacks that you really like to help with Marcus Major and Seth McGowan. After losing TJ Pledger to the transfer portal, he's come out at Utah. So on the scholarship distribution chart, you have your 2022 five-star in Raleek Brown. That's awesome. Also means that Raleek becomes the fifth commitment to the 2022 class for Oklahoma, joining wide receivers Jordan Hudson, Luther Burden, and Talon Shetron. Now, Kobe McKenzie's the only defensive commit on that side, but Oklahoma has been able to fill up the offensive side of the ball pretty quick, and then it traditionally tries to go and fill up with the defensive side because the reputation of Oklahoma football is to be offensively, well, a superpower. And that's what Raleek Brown brings to you. In 2 years, coming down from Stockton to modern day, 54 touchdowns, 2,600 yards rushing, 1,400 yards receiving, a do-everything kind of back, but tremendous speed. Great catching the ball out of the backfield, and that is how he earned his offer a couple of years ago at Oklahoma. Comes down for the elite camp, catching passes from Brock Vandagriff and really putting other children on skates, in which case he wanted to earn that offer, and he did earn that offer. And I'm excited to see what his senior season looks like. We hope that California is going to have something like a normal fall season, but this pandemic has already drug on for much longer than we thought. However, the vaccine is being facilitated, and the more people that take the vaccine, the safer the environment becomes, and the more we can get back to what we know of as normal. But when I take a look at the scholarship distribution chart, this is also a big win for Oklahoma just a day after Connor Wagman decided to commit to Texas A&M. It means that Oklahoma is going to turn all of its attention, it seems, to Malachi Nelson in the 2023 class because quarterback recruiting usually goes in that way. You have your on year and your off year. For Oklahoma, the on year is your odd year. The off year is your even year. So how you recruit in your even year for Oklahoma is going to say a lot about how you compete for national championships. You've heard me talk a lot about Alabama over the last week because that 2021 recruiting class is historically the greatest of all time according to the rankings in the composite, right? 327.91 points they amassed. That is 3+ more than the second highest ever, right? 2010 Florida Gators at 324.62. But the reason Alabama has been so good is because they can stack in every year. They have won the recruiting title 9 out of the last 11 years. The only team to unseat them is Georgia, which is one of the reasons why we continue to say that Georgia ought to win a national championship, and Georgia keeps making us look bad. I had Oklahoma and Georgia in the national championship game this season. We'll see which one of them decides to make me right or which one of them decides to make me look really, really bad. I know that many of y'all are here for me looking bad. That's okay. I'm fine with that. Raleek Brown is a tremendous get for Oklahoma. He would be a tremendous get for anybody. Big 12 defensive coordinators don't want to see it. Of course, Oklahoma fans are all about it. And Relic gives himself to all sort of Relic the Freak references. And I'm excited to get into a few of those as we get closer to him playing the sport of college football. A couple other things that I want to touch on while we are here. The Big Ten announced that it is basically reshuffling the Big Ten schedule. The games stay the same in that the places where they're going to go. So like Penn State has to go to Ohio State this year, though the game was moved on the date. My overall take on this is I don't care what you do with the schedule, Big Ten. I only care that the game gets played on November 27th, which is what it's scheduled to be, what Ohio State, Michigan is supposed to be. We lost that game last year due to COVID-19 protocol. It's a down year for Michigan. It's obviously an up year for Ohio State. Michigan hopes to do something worthwhile in this season. We'll see, man. Goodness me. I look at Michigan and I look at Texas and I look at USC and I think, man, it would be so much more fun along with Nebraska if y'all were good. That's what I want from Michigan. I want them to be good. I want Texas to be good. I want Nebraska to be good. USC being good. All of those things are good for the sport. It makes the sport healthier because those are names and programs people follow, right? People 100% care about what USC is doing when they're winning. Everybody cares about what Michigan is doing even when they say they don't. Everybody cares about what Texas is doing even when they say they don't. Everybody wants Nebraska to be good because we've seen Nebraska be bad for so long, especially in this year where Oklahoma and Nebraska are going to play for the first time in 11 years. And we're all very excited about that as Nebraska is going to travel down to Gaylord Memorial Stadium to take on the Sooners at the Palace on the Prairie in a game in which I expect Oklahoma will probably be ranked inside the top 5. And Nebraska will be probably ranked in the coaches poll because somebody always ranks Nebraska in the coaches poll, which is blah. My goodness. I want that program to be good. They deserve to be good. Their fan base is awesome. Last thing I want to touch on before get done with this particular show. Barry Odom just got the highest raise or became the highest paid assistant in Arkansas history at $1.75 million annual. This is after Barry Odom turned down the opportunity to be the defensive coordinator at Texas. Steve Sarkisian rebounded, got Pete Kwiatkowski out of Washington. I expect he'll probably be pretty decent and pretty good for them. But what this says for me is that the folks at Arkansas are so very into being good at football. And they know that in the SEC West, they're going to have to play a little defense. It was interesting last year in that the strength of Arkansas's team was its defense. Getting tremendous play out of Jalen Catalon. Getting tremendous play out of Hudson Clark, who was a walk-on at the time, right? Getting awesome play out of Grant Morgan and Bumper Pool. You want to keep Barry Odom there so he can build around that success while Kendall Browse figures it out with the quarterback, whether it's KJ Jefferson or Malik Hornsby, and tries to put together an offense that can really complement that defense, that 4-2-5 they run, and see if they can't get something like Art Briles era Baylor success at Arkansas. And in the SEC West, it's going to be difficult because top to bottom, that is the deepest division in football, right? Because we go Alabama, LSU, Texas A&M, just for starters, Ole Miss, Mississippi State in there, of course, Arkansas, Auburn. It's tough to try to win games in that conference, but if you're going to do it, you're going to have to ante up. You're going to have to pay guys like Barry Odom. All right, that is it for me. Doses.